Okay.
Hey, Sally, take it away.
All right. So today we're going to talk about how to craft your chapter in a way that you're going to be able to get clients for either your product or your service or whatever it is that you want to do. One of the things when I speak with someone and they're talking about what it is, they want to write a chapter with us or write a book. One of the things I ask them is, what do you want your chapter to help you with? So I want them to think about, do they have a business? Do they have a product or a service that they give to others? And how can I use this book as a tool to get others to help me grow either my business or to get clients or whatever it is that I want to do with this book. So I want them to start thinking about how to use this book, how to leverage this book, because that's what I did when I with my first collaboration book. My whole question was, how can I leverage this opportunity? How can I leverage this book and connect with the people and get opportunities to either grow my business or to learn something new from them. So that's kind of the way I wanted to talk about this webinar today, and just let everyone know that you can use this book as a tool to get clients. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, who is your ideal client, and trying to figure that out, because once you know that, you're able to craft your message to them. So Linda has had a form where she talked about finding your target client, finding your ideal client. And I'm gonna send each of you a copy of the workbook that I created, and Linda's gonna just go over some of um, the things. I can't do it for some reason in um,
Are
Zoom,
you
so I'm
able
just
to pull it up on your screen?
yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna send it to both of you in Messenger so that you'll have
Okay, I
it.
can show it on my screen. I got it.
You have it?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, Bill, actually take that off of my screen. Okay, so first thing is, when you're thinking about your book, like Sally, mentioned, is like, what do you want out of the book? How do you want the book to utilize? How do you want to utilize the book as a marketing tool? Because the book can be a great marketing tool if you utilize it. Just like if you go to a networking event and you take business cards, your book is the same thing. It serves that purpose. But what's better about a book as opposed to business cards is you can actually give a book away to somebody and they'll keep it. They might put it on their bookshelf. They might gift it to somebody else, but it's actually a touching of hands. Usually people don't throw books away. Whereas a business card, it might go into a shoebox, into a bag. It might go into their desk. It just might fall on the bottom of their car seat. You never know where your business card is going to be. But a book is something that people will typically they'll hold on to, and they might actually even read it. But you think about it, if it's sitting on their bookshelf, your book is sitting on their bookshelf, and every single time they walk by that bookshelf, their subconscious actually sees your book, and that makes them remember you. So this is why have one of the reasons why having a book, or even if it is a collaboration book, it's the same thing, because you're still part of that book. And so the ideal client piece, this is an important piece, is figuring out who your ideal client is. We're going to pull this up on the screen to show you the worksheet that we're going to be talking about today. And Sally also sent you the link to it, I think, so you can access that as well if you're able to print it out or not. It's up to you. You can use it as a Google Doc, and I think it's not, it's only viewable, right? No, it's not. Here, let's change it. It should be viewable. So hopefully it's the same link, Sally, because I just made it viewable instead of editable. So
I
the first
I
thing,
sent them a PDF.
oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay, gotcha.
This is just
Um,
you.
okay, thank you. So the ideal client, this word here, ideal, this is the word I really want you to think about. When I first started in business over 8 years ago, I was taught this thing about target market, the target market. Who are the people that you want to surround yourself with? Who are the people that are the people you want to target your business idea at, so that way you hit the bullseye on them and then they come to work with you? Who are the people, like what's their age, how old are they, where do they live, what's their religion, like really really getting deep down into all these different things that make up a human being. And then as I was trying to figure out my own target market, because at that time when I first started business, one of the things I loved doing was running a mastermind. I ran a women's mastermind. And so I was thinking about who I wanted to be in my mastermind. Who's my target market, right? And then it dawned on me that the people that I was thinking about were the people that were not action takers. So I give an example. At that time, my target market was people who are in corporate, who are stuck in corporate. They feel like they're stuck in corporate. They want out so bad. And, they just have the strong desire to get out of the corporate world. However, for those of you who have been in corporate, you know that the most people will complain about what's going on, but they won't take any action to get out of it. So what I was wanting to do was to save those who didn't want to do the work to be saved. That was not an ideal client. Now, that was a target market. It was a great target market, but not an ideal client, because this is the person who probably won't see the value in what I was doing, probably wouldn't want to pay money to hire me to help them, to get out of their corporate jobs, because they just want to complain about it. So when you think about your ideal client, it's like, who do you want to spend your time with? Like, Christine, you just mentioned, you spend time with your clients, whether it's in person or it's, now that we have the Zoom and the COVID and all that stuff, that helped you to see that you could do this online as well. Who are those people you want to spend your time with? So ideally, when you're coming up with this ideal client person in relation to your book, like, why do we do this? Because we want your book to attract your ideal client. We want your book to attract your ideal client to want to work with you. Because today we are talking about crafting that chapter that converts into clients, but you got to know who is that client I want before you can write it to convert those clients into, convert those potential clients into clients. So really thinking along that lines. One of the things to do is to think about, like, what do you sell? That's easy. I know, like today we have herbalist. I used to say herbs in Canada, I believe. In US we say herbs. And so we have our herbalist, and then we have Latara, graphic designer, and she does other things as well. So I know who we have in our audience today. So what do you sell? That's what you sell, right? That's the product that you sell, and or service that you sell. But then what problem does your product or service solve? Sometimes the problem is not really a problem. Sometimes they just want, maybe they're already feeling good and they want to feel better. So the herbs would be a way for them to feel better. But sometimes they're having an ailment and they heard that they need herbs in order to get rid of that ailment, right? Or to, I can use the term because I'm not into that market, but cure a problem that they have. So with Latara's, it might be that, they know that they need great designs, but they don't know how to design. And so you're the solver of that problem that they have. And then when you analyze that client, so the next piece, you're analyzing your ideal clients, think about this. This is one of the best ways in order to really come up with that ideal client person that you want to really speak to. Think about your existing clients. Who are my existing clients? And of my existing clients, which one do I like the best? Play favorites, just like parents, right? So you want to play favorites and figure out which is the client that you have that really is the ideal one, the one that you could spend too much time with them and not work with anybody else, because that's how much you love this person. They pay on time. You don't have to, say, your payment is due. Are you ever going to, you don't have to hunt them down. That's an ideal client. The person who shows up to all of their appointments, that's an ideal client. The person who actually does the work. When you assign them some kind of homework assignment, they actually do the work and they come back and say, I did it. What's next? That's an ideal client. Do you have any clients that fit that mold? And if so, really think about, like, what's for you as a business owner, what's important, what's the most important piece of that ideal client, and what is it that you want to make sure that you attract more of that. You want to attract more of that. We don't want to attract the people who complain about the price, who forget to make a payment, who show up late all the time, who, they cause the sessions to go over, sometimes, who don't do the homework assignments, who, when you give them an assignment to do, they're like, oh, I forgot, or I forgot where I put it, or I can't remember what assignment you get, whatever, all these different excuses to not make progress. Those, in my opinion, I don't know, maybe you guys like that. I don't know, but I don't. Like, that makes my job a lot harder, right? When I'm working with people who have a lot of excuses as to why they don't do something, or why they do something, but they do it not with the good intentions, I guess is the way to leave it. So really thinking again, who is my ideal client? Because this is the person you're going to write the book for. This is the person you're going to write that chapter for. Here we're talking mostly about, well, we are talking about the collaborative books where you have one chapter. In one chapter, you can make a whole case for people wanting to work with you. And we're going to share with you some of the things that you can do in your chapter in order to do this. This will be a game changer. This, you can also use what we're going to teach you today. You can also use this in social media. You can use this in emails. So really, really pay close attention to what we're talking about today. And then you can, take a moment to, you don't have to do it now or anything, but just take a little bit of time to figure out who is that person. Knowing their income level, this is a really big deal, because if you undershoot the income level because you're like, well, I don't know anybody who makes this kind of money, then that's the kind of people you're going to always attract. So if the income level that you desire for your ideal client, let's say that I only want to work with people who make, $300,000 a year or more. Like, that's what you want to work with. Remember, this is your ideal client. This is ideal. And why would that number matter? Because that's the kind of person, when you get into those higher numbers, six figures, in the higher six figures and stuff, those people, they're very aware of their money, and they also see the value in investing. And so they're more likely to invest in something than somebody who makes, say, $40,000 a year, because that person is probably having a hard time maybe coming up with their monthly rent or coming up with their car payments. Gas prices just shot out of the roof, and they're having a hard time filling their gas tank. Those are not ideal clients. Yes, we can help those people. But today, what we're talking about is attracting the ideal client to you. So with that, Sally, you're on the next. Oh, you changed this. I don't even know what this is. Go on, Sally. Oh, I know what you did. Okay.
All right. So one of the things we're going to ask you is to try to figure out exactly how your product or service is unique. So what is unique about you? Now, unique, Linda and I were talking about it last night, and unique doesn't necessarily mean that nobody else is doing it. Unique means that working with you in different areas is a unique experience. So I made a little chart here in how to find your uniqueness, different things that you can look at, the user experience. How does someone work with you? How is the experience? Is it, do they come in, and how do you treat them, and that kind of stuff? Your brand promise and brand identity. How does your brand work into this? And how do they identify with what you're doing? Your function, how does it function? Is it sustainable? Or do you have different, is it something that you've been doing for a long time? Is it something that's been around for a long time? How narrow is the niche? How many, looking at how narrow you can get it. You can charge more, and you can be, you can have that uniqueness. And it's a combination of all of these. What's your social impact? Do you personalize your products? Is it convenient? Is it innovative? You know, how, what's the quality like? What's the different price points? And how is it designed? So just think about, like, in all those different areas, you will have a unique experience than anybody else, because you have different levels of all of these things that your competition will not.
Yeah, I want to address a couple of these just to give examples. Like if you're wondering, like, well, what was the user experience? One thing at Action Takers Publishing, like we know what the user's experience is because they tell us. And we have heard time and time again in testimonials, one to three of these words is fast, fun, and easy. So these are all related to experience, the experience they're having is that it's fast, right? The experience that they're having is that, oh my God, that was so easy. I didn't really feel like I had to do a lot of work. They did all the heavy lifting. That's an experience that they are experiencing with us. For the brand promise, one of the brand promises that we make is that you are guaranteed to become a best-selling author. That's a brand promise. I guarantee these results. And so when we're guaranteeing results, that is a brand promise. The price, this is an interesting one because I wrote this down. That's price equals perception of value. Price, I want you guys to write this down. Price equals perception of value. So when we're pricing our products, when we're pricing our services, when we're pricing our time and stuff, it's not like how much will they pay? It's what's the value that they perceive from what it is that I'm offering. It's based on their perception. And when they have this certain perception of the value of what you're offering, they're going to decide how much they think it's worth. They're going to decide how much they think it's worth. So if they're deciding that what you have is not worth very much, guess what? That's on you. That's not on them, because you haven't described the results that they will get. You haven't described it well enough for them to see themselves in that place, for them to see themselves like, having these amazing marketing materials that are really going to attract people to their product, attract people to their brand, right? Or the herbs, like what the herbs really will do for your life. And so if they're questioning the pricing, it's their own perception of what they believe the value to be. So I kind of wanted to stress that piece there. And then, one of the things that we do is, we provide visibility for our authors. We give plenty of opportunities for our authors to show up in different areas, not just the book. It's way beyond the book. And again, that's part of the user experience that we're offering. So really think about, what it is that your business, that product or service that you have, what here, if you did print it out, circle all the ones where you fit. And then also I'd love to see you type it in the chat. If you didn't print this out, just take about 30 seconds or so to kind of go through and see, circle all of the items here that you believe that your business, you and your business offer to people. So let's take just like 30 seconds to do that. I'm going to actually start my timer. So if you're watching our replay, go ahead, start writing. 30 seconds on the clock. Ten seconds. And time is up. Time is up. Okay, so you put in the chat how many of those, just those items listed there, how many of them does your product or service fit into, like those categories? You could put that in the chat. That would be fantastic. I would love to see that. What about you, Sally? How many did you have? You can put them in the chat. They're still thinking, I guess. Okay, let's go on to the next thing then. So if you guys could put that in the chat, that'd be fantastic when you get a chance. And let's go on to the next thing, Sally.
Yeah, well, am I okay? I'm live. And then, so the next thing we're going to ask you to ask yourself, or what are some questions that your clients may have? So, examples of this would be, how long does the process take? Um, what happens if if it doesn't work? What are some obstacles that I may have by working with you? What are some things that um, could happen, or what are some things that will happen? So just think about the different questions that your clients will have when they decide that they want to work with you. And then, you being able to then, later on, being able to provide them with the solutions. And we're going to talk about that. What was that? Yeah, and offering them solutions to their problems.
Okay, I see we have, Christine has at least 5 of those items and Latara 1. So Latara, maybe when we're done here, we can just go over that a little bit because I know you have a lot more than one. So I'd love to discuss that. So we have a little bit of time left at the end. We'll go over that. So the next thing is to, provide again these actionable and insights. And so an example of that would be for us, one of the things that is an actionable insight into the type of work that we do is, choosing the correct Amazon categories that can help them to become a bestseller, like to help them to hit that bestseller status. So this is something that I might provide in a chapter in a book that we're doing, depending on what the book is about, what the topic is and everything. But this is something that I would provide for them. Another thing is, one of the things that when I've mentioned this to people in the past, I always hear this like, oh my God, I never thought of that. That was so amazing. So think about what are some of the things that when you're talking to people that they say, wow, thanks so much for sharing that. I never heard that before. That's incredible. I love it. That's awesome. Whatever kind of words that they use. If you're unmuted, if you can mute, that would be awesome. Thanks. Some of the things that you do that they say that. So one of the things that when I talk to people about the fact that they can open up a Google Doc like this and they can dictate. So I'll just show it real quick here on the screen. They can hit tools and then voice typing, and then they can click this. Once they click that button, comma, it starts typing all the words up for them, period. That right there, just that one tip right there always gets people like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to save a lot of time. And so that's an insight. It's like an insider secret, right? An insider secret. So what kind of insider secrets do you have, or insights do you have into the type of business that you have, and that can help the readers, things that they again may not have considered that can help them out. So Sally?
Yeah, and it's just figuring out, okay, what is it that people have asked me about? What are some things that people have discussed with me? What are some things that my clients have told me that has worked or hasn't worked? Or and then writing that into your chapter and telling other people, okay, and you could say something like, I had a client that was struggling with this, and this, and I gave them this advice and they had this result. So that somebody else reading it, having that same issue, will be able to know that you have the solution to their problem. And then another thing, we tell you is to just, be clear and concise. Speak in a language that your audience will be able to understand. A lot of times, when we're writing, we may think that we need to use better words or go into bigger explanations, but a lot of times, short and sweet is better. So it's being clear, being concise, and just explaining exactly what it is that you want them to know in its simple language. especially in a book or in a chapter. And then Linda talked about looking at things from a different perspective. How can you look at your business from a different perspective, from a different angle, from your your clients look, or maybe even just the way you view it, and how can you work in informing people with the stuff that you know and the stuff that you've learned, informing them in your book and in your chapter to get that message out there. And one of the things,
Awesome.
one of the things we do is we utilize I have on here the Chat GPT to come up with the chapter titles. And that's worked for so many of our clients. And just since we did the Chat GPT workshop, and a lot of people have come to me and said, yeah, you know what, that has helped me a lot. So that's just another little, a different perspective to look at things. I mean, it's not going to write your chapter for you, but it's going to give you that outline, and it's going to help you to spark something.
Yeah, and so what we're doing there is we're giving them a time-saving, piece of a time-saving tool that can help them get more focused on their chapter titles, or if you're writing a whole book, come up with your book title and your subtitle, writing the Amazon description, writing emails to potential readers, writing social media posts. And we use ChatGPT for a lot of different things. And it's a great tip that we can give people. Again, another like little insider tip that we can give them to help them to, write their own chapters and their own books. So, Sally?
Yeah. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about using persuasive language in your chapter. Now, this is just a way of just letting people know what it is that you offer, and what it is that the problem that you solve, and then how they can work with you, and how they can get in on what you're doing. And so there's I don't know, 10, probably 15 or 20 of them in this worksheet. And there's different things, talking about asking them to invest in themselves. Let's see. So stop settling for mediocrity and start achieving greatness. There's a lot of the words that you use are important, and the words that you use are going to influence people, and they're going to get them to want to work with you, or want to read more about your story, and read your book.
And I want to touch a little bit on persuasive language. When I first heard like that term persuasive, I actually had a trigger because of the environment that I grew up in. And when people would for me, the word persuasive felt forced and like somebody making me do something. So how I am now is, if I feel forced and I feel like I'm being made to do something, I actually retreat and go the other way. So it actually works against me. So this persuasive language, it's not meant to get people to do what they don't want to do. It's to get them to open their mind and their eyes to the possibilities of what they can do. It's completely different mindset there. So when looking at these are just little tips on writing some persuasive language. When we come up with a call to action at the end of our messages, even in the end of your book, like a call to action, or the end of your chapter, a call to action could be, take what I've taught you in here and implement it today. That's a call to action. And you're saying implement it. That's a call to action. So you're calling them to take an action to transform their life. Because if we don't have that guidance, if we don't have those people in our lives that see us who we really are, and they're not guiding us to get there, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to get to that end result. So when you think about it, any of this like persuasive language, and as you're coming up with emails or social media posts, or if you're connecting with somebody in a messenger chat or what have you, text message, telephone, all these different ways that we communicate with people nowadays. When you're communicating with them, just kind of like maybe pick one of these little bullets here that you're like, you know what, I like this one, and just try to use that one, utilize it in different ways with different people, and just pick one, and practice it, because you'll find that the more you practice with that sort of language, that you'll find it's easier to come up with other terminology that is along the same lines of that language. So when I first started business, I was too scared to sell to anybody. And then I learned the term inviting people, right? I'm going to invite you to work with us, kind of thing. So it's just different languaging that is used. I rarely use the word inviting us, inviting you to work with us and stuff, but there's different languaging to use that makes it a lot easier for us to do the same thing, which is, selling a product or service, but it's selling it in a different way. So for me, I give information. I don't sell anything. I give information, and people make an empowered decision based on that information. And so that's how I choose to do like my sales. So when writing your chapter, really thinking about like, how can I help them to move forward? If we use language that's not direct, and like this one here, it says, it's like the sixth one down or so, investing in yourself and your business is the key to success. So let me show you how to make the most out of your resources and achieve your full potential. So that right there is the investing in yourself, is letting them know that they need to make an investment. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's time and money, sometimes it's resources. There's different ways to invest in ourselves. But then let me show you, this is showing them this, like, I'm guiding you, like, let me show you, I'm going to guide you. Wait, where to go? Let me show you how to make the most of your resources. So that either the resources they already have and or the resources that they're buying from me, and to help them to achieve their full potential. So what we're doing is we're opening the mind to them that I'm not achieving my full potential yet. Like, there's so much more out there for me. This is what we're doing, is, again, opening their mind by seeing the different ways to do things with the product and or services that we have. So again, I'd recommend look these over, choose one that you like, and try it out. Like, give yourself a week, try it. You know what, I'm going to try this one phrase out and see what happens. And I want to give you a homework assignment. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to give it anyway. The homework assignment is to look at your emails, and I want you to look at them from a different perspective. I want you to read the emails from the perspective of, is the language in this email persuading me to take an action? Not to buy from them. It might be to buy from them, but is it written in a way that is persuading me to take an action? So I want you to really kind of look at those, because the more we study other people's language, the more we study other people's ways of writing, this is how we can become better writers, right? This is how we can then become a more persuasive with our language, And again, it's not about getting them to do something that you want them to do, and that's not good for them. It's about opening their mind to the possibilities that this is what they can do, and there's so much more for them out there. That's how I perceive persuasive language. Because again, I don't ever sell anything. I share information and knowledge, and then people make an educated buying decision, which is so much better. Okay, so with that, Sally, we'll go to the last one there. I think, are we on the last one? Oh no, we're on key number 4 of 5 keys. Item number 4.
Yes. And one of the things I wanted to mention is that in our books, we want your stories. So, a lot of this is, we're talking about, and this is something to be sprinkled throughout, but we want your stories. We don't want a 3,000 word sales ad for you and your product. So I just wanted to make sure that was mentioned. So we're going to talk about the different calls to action that you can have in your chapter, in your bio, and ways that you can utilize that. So the first thing is to know your offer, know exactly what it is you're offering, so that you'll be able to explain it to somebody. Um, and I have, act now and receive, an exclusive package that has all the resources and all the stuff that you're going to need to blank whatever it is that you chose. So it's knowing exactly what your offer is. Knowing your ideal client, we went through all of that earlier.
Okay, wait. Okay, so I want to go back to the key number one, knowing your offer. Your offer is not your process. This is the benefit that they're going to receive. So the offer, again, is the benefit that they receive from working with you. It's not the process you're going to take them through. So that's a very important piece there, because a lot of times people will talk about the features of an item, and or they'll talk about how to get there, but they don't talk about the benefits of hiring us or working with us. So really make sure that when you're doing this call to action, it's this offer piece is about the benefit of working with you. Sally?
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about knowing who your ideal client is so that you can tailor your talk to them. Knowing what their buying objections are and how to solve them. We talked, Linda and I were going over this last night. We were talking about the different objections that people have when they want to buy from you. And the most common one is price. People will say, oh, that's too expensive, or I don't want to spend that money. So think about when somebody says that, how are you going to counter that to get the sale? So talk about investing and so knowing, number one, knowing what their problem is, knowing who they are, knowing what their problem is, you'll be able to overcome their objection because you know exactly what it is they want and how your product can help solve it.
Yeah, I want to address like Christine, for example, with the herbs and stuff, is your herbs usually typically will take longer to work with somebody than taking Western medicine, right? Taking pills. And so that time objection they might have is like, well, I don't know if I have enough time, or do you know if this is really going to work? And so you let them know about the healing process, that what's the difference between pills versus taking herbs. And you could talk about like, it's okay that it takes a little bit longer because your body is actually going through a healing process. Whereas if they take pills, it has all these different side effects, right? So you would talk about the time objection that they have in that instance is like, it's going to take too long, because some herbal protocols can take months. And so, it's going to take too long, but then you let them know like why this is more beneficial to do the herbal route than it is to take that medication, right? So you share with them the difference between the two. So I just wanted to share that thought on that.
Yeah. And then to move on, keep them informed, and then have everything in order. Have everything in order for them to work for you. Have all the processes, have all the ways for them to be able to pay you. Your landing page, your website should be, everything should be user friendly and easy to navigate. Have a couple of your friends, make sure that it's working well. And
And I
that,
have a little disagreement on this one, so I'm going to share it. And that's that of utmost importance is to be able to have a way for them to pay, period. Can they pay by PayPal? Yes. That's really the most important piece, because I have had so many clients that have gotten stuck in this piece. My website's not up yet. I can't make an offer yet because my website's not up yet. The reality is, if you have a PayPal payment and you can accept PayPal, you're ready to make a sale. But this is like the salad dressing. Like this is putting the cherry on top of the sundae. So I only share that because this is one thing that can get people to stop dead in their tracks and not make offers. The reality is you can make offers and then fix all this stuff as you go. So I just wanted to share that piece as well. Sally?
yeah, I love that. And that was, that's what, and having that payment piece stopped me for a long time because I thought I had to have it all set up and I didn't. So,
Right on, right on. Okay. Number 5.
and then building relationships with real conversations with people. Um, actually this is more about your business than the chapter, but just, having that building those relationships, and we're going to talk about how to build those relationships next after your book is published, and building those relationships with the readers and helping them to know who you are and what you're all about.
Well,
And
and
then
part of the relationships too goes with when the book is ready to launch. Like you've been fostering these relationships and you continue to foster them, or you're creating new relationships. So that way when the book is ready to launch, you have more people that you've tapped into, more people who are interested in what you have, and more people who are more likely to purchase a copy of the book. So that again goes, so keeping those relationships going, it's in business, but also it does work for the book as well.
yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to talk a little bit about following up with your readers. So what happens once you've got your chapter in the book is launched, and how do you connect with your readers? How do you connect with the people? Um, so we're number one is to make sure you have some way to collect their information, even if you just have a spreadsheet. When and when people buy from you, you type their name and their email address. You have a way to connect with people. Send them a thank you email or message, some way to message them after they've told you that they purchased your book. You can offer different value content. A lot of times what you could do is say, okay, you wrote your chapter, maybe have, hey, I wrote my chapter, but there was a lot that I had a whole bunch that was cut out. I'm going to offer this as a standalone on top for everybody who buys it will get, the addendum or get an addition, that kind of thing. Oh, he was here. We're finishing up. I'll let her in. Offer, yeah, and then personalize your communications. People love to hear their name. Make sure when you connect with them that you personalize the communications with them. Offer them a different product or service that they can come along with. And then doing the regular follow-up with them, using social media, and then hosting different events, getting on different events, hosting webinars, doing workshops, courses, whatever it is that you can do to, to make sure you're in constant communication with your readers, so that once you have them in your funnel or in your email list, that you regularly keep up with them, so the next time you do something, they know who you are, and they're going to want to buy, and they're going to want to keep coming back. Linda, was there anything else?
Yeah, I'm going to introduce you guys to something I just learned yesterday, and I love the concept of this. This goes to the building of the relationships, and that is called, what we would call it, texting and or phone call roulette. So what you do is you just take your phone and you go to your text messages, break out, you go through the exercise with me now if you have your phone handy. Just go to your text messages, and then I want you to just take your finger and scroll. And wherever it lands, you pick a number that's not a spam. Like I just happened to roll to a whole page of spam. I'm going to roll again, scroll again. You find a number, and hopefully somebody you know. Oh, these messages from people, I don't even know these people. So you're going to tap on that person's name, and you're going to do it right now. You're going to say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And that's it. You do that and you send. You do that to 3 people a day. So whether it's on your phone, like your text messages, or you can go to your phone recent calls on your phone, and you can text message that person from there. You just send them a text message. Hey, I was just thinking about you. And that's it. And you see what happens. So yesterday I did that, and one person signed up for one of our books. That wasn't like the message didn't start off with that intention. I was just that was I was playing roulette. So, and there was a person that I hadn't talked to in a couple of years. And so it was kind of cool. I was able to spark back a conversation. So that's one thing you can do, is you can do it a roulette. So it'd be phone call roulette, text roulette, or messenger roulette. Just go through your messenger and scroll and find somebody and just say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And that's it. You don't need to say any more than that, because we like to be thought about. Make sure it's not somebody that's like, I don't know, like has some sexual thoughts about you or something, or a serial killer. Hopefully you don't have a serial killer in your phone. You know, that would, my
Maybe
husband and I have been watching too many of these serial killer shows. Latara is like, okay. So with all that said, first, Iwa, welcome to, did you have a call with Iwa, Sally, that we need to get off of here for? Okay, perfect. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about what we just covered? And then if not, I want to come back to Latara's number 1 that she put in the chat. Are you okay with us talking about that, Latara?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. So before we do that, so Christine, do you have any questions or any thoughts?
I love your roulette idea. That's really neat. And it's going to
Fun.
take away my apprehension, right? So I can start practicing with something like that, where, as you said, you don't know what direction it's going to take, because actually really the ball's in their court. And but all the same, it will then make it easier for me when I want to be doing my follow-up and I'm kind of going, or whatever the circumstances were. It's just a little more of a fun aspect.
Yeah,
I love what
a
you
little
said
game,
about
right?
the and I love what you said about with somebody who makes more money, they're going to see the value of investing in themselves. Like, or I put in themselves, because that would definitely be part of where I'm coming at. And then price is the perception of value. And so I'm much more caught up in the dollar value of price, not the value of what I'm offering. And therefore my prices are still too low, but I rose them up, and I had to do 2 tiers of pricing because I can't leave my current ones behind. But all the same, I recall somebody saying, and I don't think it was you guys, but somebody has risen up their prices and basically fired the clients that they used to have. And like, in the sense that, oh, it was you. Okay. So I just,
Yeah.
there was a few people that I couldn't remember. So yeah, that was really neat that you work with a different caliber of clientele, because they truly appreciate what you're offering. I can see a few things of what you discussed tonight where, yeah, not all of it, of course, is fitting into my book chapter, but as a book, there would definitely be that extra, though, where you were talking about, this was left out, that I'm possibly going to have, because I have too many words and have to cull it down. There might be more that I could make into like a document or something to share with them afterwards, that gets them to know me a little bit better, or a little more about what I do in my business, because part of it is my business, but part of it is my journey. So there's a cross between the two of them for me. So thank you for sharing it. I have downloaded the copy, so I will have that as well. Yeah. Do we get a copy of this recording by chance?
We're doing the same thing on Saturday, and that's the one we're
Okay.
going to send out.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
you guys, you're
Then I
our
won't
guinea
have the little
pigs.
extras for related to me. So I'm
Yeah.
promoting my
Oh.
business on Saturday.
Oh,
But
okay.
I
Yeah,
kind of
we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll send this out to you. Just the 3 of you here. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Cause
Yeah,
you
of
definitely
course.
targeted some things specifically to me that would be extra beneficial. I made a note of some, but I didn't get everything down. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
Cool.
I
I'm glad it
enjoyed
was
this. Thank you.
beneficial. And that piece of, firing your clients, sometimes they fire themselves because they can't afford you.
Right.
And so you're having those different tiers. There was a languaging that you used there that I'm going to offer different languaging to you. You said, I
Certainly.
can't. You said, I
Oh,
can't. I
right.
can't
No.
leave them behind. And
Right.
you're
I'm
not
not
leaving them
prepared
behind.
to.
Well, and by having two tiers doesn't mean you're leaving them behind, right? So what you're
True.
doing is you're
I've kept
creating
them.
different options, additional options, maybe the higher price. You offer more to those people who pay a
Right.
higher price,
Yeah.
maybe something like that. But there's so
Yeah.
many different ways for us to work the pricing. And most of the time, our pricing is based on our own junk.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very
So
much
those
so.
who are charging really high prices, what's the difference between them and us? There is no difference. I love to use this example. I have a pair of shoes and I bought them at Target and they were $30. Very comfortable. They're really cute. I love them. They look great. They make me look great and all this stuff, right? I paid $30 for these shoes. And then there's this pair of shoes from this company called Milano Blahnik, right? These shoes are like $5, $6, $7,000 for a pair of shoes. They're cute, but they're not comfortable. So for me, I would never pay that kind of money for a pair of shoes that are going to be uncomfortable just because they look cute. But other women would pay that kind of money because of the name of the shoe. But I'm going for more like the $30, $40 pair of shoes that are going to be comfortable. Yeah, I might have to replace them after a year or two or, year and a half or what have you, but I only paid $30 to be comfortable. So really that whole money piece is a big thing. It took me years, like 7 or 8 years, about, 6 to 7 years to get clear on the money thing, to no longer let my own money hangups drive the business. So I'll share with you one last thing about the money piece, before we go on with, with talking about Lataris, is that I was the other day I was looking at our pricing because we do the collaboration books, but we also do solo books. And so I was looking at the solo books because I'm creating this new program, 3 different levels. They can come in at this one, or this one, 3 different levels. And I looked at the pricing and I was like, I'm going to raise the price. And so I did, I raised the price. And I was telling I belong to a mastermind, and I was telling them, I said, you know what, from now on, I'm just going to keep raising the price until somebody buys. Usually what happens is people lower their prices until somebody buys. But I said, I'm going to raise the price until somebody buys, because there are people out there that want to buy what I have, who have money, that the price I'm charging is too low. They don't see the value because it's too low.
Yeah.
See, oftentimes we look the other way. We're like, I need to lower my prices to bring in those low people, but low paying people. But I want to raise my prices because I want to move up. I want to move up. I don't want to move back. I don't want to move down.
True.
So yeah, so they love that.
No,
They're like, what?
I can appreciate some of that, because I literally, in the past, we were talking prices with some of my clients, and I had clients that said, you don't charge enough. And of course, others won't say anything, and some are struggling or whatever. So the one time when I actually, when I introduced it, it's like, because some of you feel that I'm not charging enough. No, it was a joke, but it was, wherever we're at, I need to raise the price. And at that point, goodness, it was, it was lower yet. It was still nothing compared. And one day a client's going, wow, I don't think I'd be able to afford that. But we spent an extra 15 minutes and we were talking about not herbs, but other things. And I just jokingly said, and now you see why I'm worth 75 as well as the 45. And she chuckled and she goes, yeah. And she still doesn't have to pay the 75, but it was just the idea that she could see the difference of going, yeah, okay, it's not just, there's so much more to what I can offer. It's not just the herbs. Yeah.
And when we raise our prices too, sometimes, like, some people will say, you need to double your prices, you need to triple your prices or whatever. And the reality is that you can only go as far as your next level. So to them, they see that, like with one of our programs, I was going to charge $500 500 a month, I think it was. But my coach was like, no, you need to do 5,000 for 3 months. Now, for me to go from 500 a month to 5,000 for 3 months, it's a big jump. But I've done a lot of mental money work, like money mindset work that I can say, okay, awesome, I'll just do that. But in the past, I wouldn't be able to say that dollar amount because I wasn't ready. So we do need to edge ourselves up. You know, sometimes it's a $5, you know, a $5 raise. Sometimes it's a $200, 500, you know, $1,000 raise, but it's just part of the process. So what I want to do is I
Right.
want to go to,
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Want to go to Latara. So when we brought up this piece here, so Latara,
I'm
why
really
don't you show?
curious where her
Yeah,
one was,
yeah, me
what it
too.
was.
Oh, I think I know. I'm going to guess what your one was. Design.
Please do. Please do. I want to hear what you think it
What?
is.
Well, you said one, so I design. Is that the one?
Yeah, my designs are absolutely 100% unique. That is without a doubt in my mind something that I have unique. But these other things, I mean, anybody can provide these other things to people. So
Okay,
Good
they don't
question.
feel unique to me.
Oh, gotcha. And there's the key. They
Ah,
don't feel unique to me.
Yeah, like I can't say, I can't say that the user experience with me is going to be different from everybody else because what if they do have the same user experience?
Well,
You know what I mean?
first,
I can
because
say that about all of these things.
okay, I'm going to address that one.
Personalization.
Yeah, personalization. Yeah. So I want to use address that user experience first.
Okay.
Everybody will have a different experience with you. Is that correct? Because you're going to get on a call with them. You're going to find out what their needs are.
Hmm.
So it's your ability to listen to them that creates a user experience.
Okay.
You're going to hear them from your experiences, not from the other graphic designers' experiences. You're going to hear them from your knowledge. You're going to hear them from your designing of a magazine, right? You're going to hear them from your life. And so when you're hearing them, you're hearing with different ears than anybody else's. So one of the things I like to say is that, like, I hear what you're saying, but I also hear what you're not saying because I listen deeply to what people are saying when I'm on a call with
Wow.
them. And so by just saying that one piece right there, like, I'm not only listening to you, but I'm hearing what you're not saying. And this is where I can come up with random questions out of the blue that are insightful because I'm listening to more than just the words they're saying. Right. So that right there can provide a different, unique user experience. Latara, people just want to be heard. So if you're listening to them, that's a unique user experience because you're listening to them from your ears.
Mm, okay.
That right there. Personalization. Yeah. Christine hit it on the head. Personalization with every single client you work with. It's a different, you're not giving everybody, they're not going to Fiverr and getting copies of the same exact thing for every single person. You're giving them that user experience by listening to them. You're hearing what their challenges are. You're hearing what their product services are. You're hearing what they want to do. And then you're providing that personalization of what they're doing. So what you did with us is, like, we talk about the last sale we did. I can't remember what it was called, but you really brought my personality into the design, right? You brought my personality into the design that you were creating for me. And then you use like fonts and images and the colors, like everything was spot on. It was personalized to our brand, but you also brought in my own personality into it. Do
I
you
would
see
use
that?
the word not cookie cutter. You don't
Mhm.
do the same thing for each person. It's unique. Well, okay, yeah, we've got the word unique, but it's geared to them in whatever conversation you've had, but it's not the cookie cutter thing. You don't do the same thing for this one, for this one, for this one. You're not going to find the same book cover. You're not going to find the same portfolio, anything, because each one is different. There might have some similarities, but something's going to be tweaked that they're all unique.
Mhm.
You see
Now you
that?
see why one, we
Yeah.
weren't gonna let you away with one only.
Well, thank you.
And then
I'm
quality.
glad you guys got my back.
Okay, I want you, Latara, to talk about quality as like why you did not select that.
Unique quality. Because they can get that somewhere else.
See, again, they're getting you. No two designers are alike unless they're just taking clip art and slapping it onto something. Right. Even then you're going to
Yeah.
get different designs because
Yeah.
the ideas that are swirling around a designer's head are different for every single designer. Every designer is different. So is it possible that every designer is unique?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just finding the ways that you're unique. Like, what are
Mhm.
your unique? Because I can be unique the same 5 or 6 ways as Sally is, but it's still unique because it's my uniqueness.
Okay.
So maybe everything doesn't fit, and that's fine. Like the brand promise or identity, like that brand promise. Do you have a promise? Is there, 100% satisfaction guarantee or your money back? That's a brand promise. That's a great brand promise that'll, a lot of companies make, right? 100% satisfaction guarantee or your money back. That's a great brand promise. So thinking about that brand promise is like, what is my promise to them? Turn around in 24 hours. That's a brand promise. Right? Unlimited designs until we get it right. That's a brand promise. So just thinking along that lines, like what are your brand promises that you do make? And you might not think of them that way. You're just not thinking of them that way. That's all it is. So what is something that you say on a regular basis that you promise to people? And if you don't have anything there, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to have something. I recommend figuring out some kind of brand promise that you can keep and guarantee every single time. So just kind of thinking along that lines. And then for the niche, that is something that's important for us to figure out, because the more niche down we get, the more likely we are to get clients. So when we're focusing on, hyper focused on one thing, we're much more likely to get clients. And I'll share with you, like, one of the things that I'm focusing on is that, with our publishing, we do the collaboration books, right? We started off doing just collaboration books because that's all I thought we would do. I didn't want to work with solo authors, but then a solo author reached out to me and I decided to go ahead and work with them. So now we're doing solo books also. We're doing the collaboration books, we're doing solo books. And I had this idea. I said, what if my only focus is that I'm going to look for people who have a following who want to head up their own book. So I'm only focusing on finding that one person. So I myself, from that perspective, I'm very niche down of what I'm looking for. But all the other things are finding me too. But my focus is on that one thing. So today I just talked to, actually yesterday, we've signed a contract with one who is an influencer that she's putting together her own book. And I talked to one today. So what's happening is I'm getting these people that are coming to me and finding me based on that niche. The niche that I'm looking for is the influencers. I'm not looking for, like, we're still going to do our own books, but I'm looking for those influencers and they're finding me. So this is how important it is for us to niche down. What is your specialty? Who are the people that you really want? Again, the people you want to help, thinking along that lines. So you have many, many uniquenesses. It might not be every single one of those things, but many uniquenesses. I don't even know if that's a word, but you got it. One of my unique things is I say random shit from time to time. That makes me unique. I just blurt out stuff and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I just said that. Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Sally, you were going to say something.
Now I was going to say, and it's the combination that makes you unique. Where you have the design and the brand promise and the personalization and the quality, that someone else may have different things, so it's the combination of the things that you offer that makes everyone unique.
Okay, so the other day,
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
you do? Are you sure? Okay, the other day I was interviewing Kristen Brown. She's one of our newest authors, a solo book. And her book is called The Recovering People Pleaser. So something happened where I disappeared or she disappeared. I can't remember exactly what happened, but one of us disappeared. And I think she disappeared. And then she came back and I said, "Oh, there you are." Something like this. Like, "Oh, there you are. I was just off pleasing myself out of my mouth." And I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I said."
I saw it live.
It was in the moment.
Stop laughing. I was just laughing so hard. But my point there is that I say random stuff. I say random stuff, and that's who I am. And I had to accept for myself that that's who I am. And that's actually one of my fun parts of me, is that I say random stuff all the time. And so either people like it or they don't. And the key
Right.
is, though, it's for us to show up, authentically as ourselves. And that is who I am. We're doing a recording right now, and I just shared something I did not need to share, but I wanted to because it's totally random stuff. So anyway, so Latara, does that help you to see a little bit more of who you are and your uniqueness?
Yes, thank you. That was very helpful. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I
Okay.
actually call my clients unique. That's the word I've come up for with them. Like, that's what I call them. They come to me saying weird and strange and all sorts of other words, but unique is the fact that every one of them is individual. There is no cookie cutter program with the way I do my business. Everyone uses the supplements that they are needing for their body right now. There's definitely products that overlap that people use, but I don't think I have one program right now that matches another. Like it doesn't. So my clients are unique. What I offer them is the uniqueness of, let's address you specifically, not the cookie cutter. So when somebody asks me questions like, well, what do we do? And like, how does this work? Well, what's good for this? It's like, I'm going to sound very generic because I don't know yet what's going to be yours. We've got to work with what medications you're using, other supplements you would be working with, but what does your body actually want us to do? So really falls in their court, but they need guidance. They need help to be able to figure it out. But I just love that I use the word unique to describe my clients because every single one of them is different than the other in at least one way, if not 250.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to share
Yeah.
with you, Christine, something that I posted a few weeks ago on Facebook. And this might be a fun thing to say to them, is that I said, if I'm not called weird at least one time a week, then I'm doing something wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
crack
I'm
myself
stepping
up.
into that uniqueness that I have and really starting to own it, because if I'm trying to play to what I think somebody else's ideals or ideas are, then I'm not being true to who I really am. And I need to be real for the ones who do need to find me and come to me. So if I'm in my authentic space always, or as much as possible, and I think it's pretty easy to be always if you're true. So if I'm being me, then they will be drawn to who really I am, because I'm the one that's going to be helping them.
Yeah,
And
I
so I'm
totally
just
agree.
stepping into that after 35 years, I'm stepping into that so much more than
That's
ever.
awesome. You're
Yeah.
stepping into it. Yeah. It
Mhm.
took me decades to get there as well. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it too. The whole thing that I am on a journey, and I take people on a journey with me in their own lives, and let's travel together. And even though I'm 56, I'm still planning another 20 years plus in business, like I still want to help people. I got a lot more to do because I didn't do as much earlier as I could have or whatever. I still have
Right.
lots of people to help. So it's joyful to consider that, yeah, this playing small thing, let's step it up a notch, let's catapult forward. And it's like, okay, I'm going this direction. Who wants to come with me? You get your own path, you can do whatever, but let's go together and make this difference. And a lot of people, they don't find me. I'm not their first opinion. I'm their second, third, fourth opinion person. So once in a while, I get someone who comes to me first, but most times they've been elsewhere. And, then they ask me these questions, and it's like, I don't think it's that complicated. We just go back at what the root cause is. This isn't that hard. And yet they didn't find the answer before in the other methods that they had used.
Yeah. Well, keep doing that
And I
great
gotta
work that you're
remember that
doing.
part. I gotta
Okay, I'm
remember.
curious. Did any of you do the text message roulette?
I did.
You did? Okay, did you get a
My
response?
phone's not
Oh,
beside
yeah,
me,
I
but
did
I made a
too.
note.
You did too? What were your responses?
And
if
one of
you
them,
don't mind sharing?
one of them came back and just said, "Oh, thanks. How you doing?"
Oh, the other one hasn't responded yet?
The other one hasn't responded yet.
Okay. Okay, mine was I'm feeling into what I want to speak about on your summit. Is there still room for a crazy Cuban to grace the platform? It was Christiana. So yeah, that the roulette is fun. You should do it. Make sure you do it. It's a lot of fun. Uh, let's see. I don't think there's anything else, Sally, is there?
No.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to know is, was this helpful with with your writing of your chapter and or like your own book and or your business?
Immensely. In fact, I want to offer up a little video testimonial here to make everybody who wasn't here tonight feel jealous, because this
Okay, wait.
was
Start at the beginning.
okay.
Start at the beginning. Okay, you're spotlighted. Go, girl.
This was an extraordinary experience. I can't believe how much really awesome information you guys laid down in this short amount of time we had together. You were also able to help me create a breakthrough in my own thinking and my own mindset about how I'm approaching my business. So this goes far beyond just helping me write my chapter. And I really appreciate Linda and Sally for being so awesome and so generous with their time and their information, and how much they want to help uplift the people in their lives. So you need to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me go back to the gallery view. I had to get you in the spotlight. And yeah, thank you so much. Because that that's the thing is, when I decided to move into the publishing, like as my business model only, before that I had I ran a women's mastermind for 6 years, but I absolutely loved doing that. That was my favorite thing at the time, right? And so when I came into the book publishing, I thought I was going to have to get rid of all of that, and realized shortly after that, no, that's an enhancement to what I do. That's part of what I do. Giving advice, again, you're hearing what you're saying, but also hearing what you're not saying, and seeing the gifts within our clients for not only their books, not only their chapters, but for their businesses, to help them to grow their businesses. And so for me to be able to incorporate that into what I'm doing is such a pleasure and an honor to be able to do that. And if it weren't for all the ups and downs I've had the last several years, that I wouldn't be able to have that knowledge to be able to impart, and then to be able to share it in a way that hopefully it makes sense. Because I like to, that's one thing, is I'm always shooting for, when I'm explaining something, that it makes sense. Now it doesn't always work, but I'm always striving for that it comes across in a way that is relatable to your own lives, to your own business, not just like do this, do that, do this, do that, because that doesn't work. That doesn't work as well, except do the roulette. Yeah, that works. That's so much fun. Awesome, Latara. Thank you for that. I'm assuming we can use that testimonial because you said give a testimony.
Of course.
Latara, when's your next summit? Are you doing? Do you have another summit slated?
I am not doing another summit in the next month or two. My next one is in June. However, the Find Your Purpose Summit is May 13th and 14th. And
We're
for
looking
anybody
for
listening to
speakers.
this recording or whatever, you should be a speaker.
Should apply to
We're
speak.
currently looking for speakers, but it's going to fill up quickly.
Yeah. Well, we're getting lots of applications in. And so that is an option, but we only make these options available to our authors. And so we
Yes.
host these summits. If you haven't seen the emails about that, maybe Sally, make a note that we send another email out because the call for speakers ends on the 15th, I think, in 3 days. So if you haven't, yeah, I think that's the date that it ends. And then, so if you haven't applied yet and you're interested, you got 3 more days as of today's recording to apply for that and see if we, welcome you as one of the speakers to the event. Again, this is one of those opportunities only for our authors that we offer for them to be speakers, at our summit. So take advantage of us, And let me share some good, I have some really cool news. I was accepted as a contributing writer for Entrepreneur magazine, for those who didn't know. And my article actually came out today, but I haven't told anybody about it yet because I wasn't prepared for it to come out. Like I honestly, I thought it was just kind of like going to be one of those, oh, we spoofed you. Like I didn't believe it was real. I didn't believe it was real that I was accepted. I didn't believe it was real that my article was actually going to be on entrepreneur.com. So I wasn't prepared for that. And goes to show, always be prepared. So with that, I wasn't prepared, but we're creating in the background, we're creating an image that will be like the Entrepreneur magazine cover with my picture on there, with my, like the title of my article and stuff. So I'm excited about that because it's like, that's that next notch up, right? Like climbing up that ladder. There's always going to be a ladder to climb. And so that's just one of those next steps up for me on that ladder of trying something that I really didn't think it was going to happen. So here we are doing it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So it's, just keep going. What is it that you want? What dreams do you have? What dreams do you not know you have? I never thought about, I never ever considered, being a contributing writer for Entrepreneur until one day when I was sitting here at my computer, it was 2.5 weeks ago, when I said, I wonder what it would be like. What do you need to do to become a contributing writer for Entrepreneur? So I Googled it and it said, oh, my phone thinks I'm going to talk to it. So what I did is I just looked for it and said, how do you become a contributing writer for Entrepreneur? That was it. And there was the answer. You apply. I was like, it's that easy? Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's sitting right underneath our nose, but we don't see it because we're not asking the right questions. So we need to revise our questions until we get the answer we're looking for. So I saw that, I applied that night, and I got notified the next day that I was accepted. And then I wrote my article, my first article, and I submitted it that next day, and it got accepted. I'm like, see, that's why it's like, this is happening too fast. This must be a joke. But it
was after April 1st.
Yeah.
Exactly. So at least it wasn't that.
Yeah. So, sometimes things do seem too good to be true, and they are true.
Right.
And that's what happened with that.
We're not used to living like that yet. Right.
Yeah.
We need to get into that mode of really accepting that these things can come to us like this easily.
Yeah.
Or what seems easy.
Well, what's cool is in life, right? Something like that. It's at the beginning, it's, first of all, it's not like I had been pondering over it for years. Literally, it was seconds, right? And then I went ahead and went through the process, but eventually, and maybe I think after we put that little image out, then it'll be, this is now part of my comfort zone. Because what happens is we go through life, when we do something the first time, it can be scary because we're not sure. There's the unknown. And then we do it. And maybe it's still scary the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time. Maybe it's scary for the next 3 years. But eventually, because we keep exercising that muscle, that eventually it becomes part of our comfort zone. And so like that's one thing for me, one thing I've come to realize is that I just need to move myself into the comfort zone quicker. And so that's what I do is I enlarge the size of my comfort zone and I keep it enlarged. I don't retract back. You know, it's like, there it is. This is my comfort zone. My comfort zone, by the way, is not closed. It's open. This is my comfort zone. There's always stuff out there waiting for me to grab it. And then just to make it larger and larger and larger. And so this is one of those experiences in life that here I am sitting here and saying, this is now part of my comfort zone. It will be, again, like I said, once we get that magazine cover and I post that, that's when I'm going to accept it as part of my comfort zone. Until then, I want to stay a little nervous. I want to stay, like I'm choosing to stay there because it's an exciting time. It's exciting time. So Latara, class.
I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying because it was beautiful. And I just want to reiterate what you said. Enlarge your comfort zone quicker sounds a lot, it feels a lot better than saying this is uncomfortable for me. And that was like when you said like the comfort zone, that was like a trigger. Oh my gosh, that's a trigger. And then it was just like I realized why. It's because it's like I don't want to be uncomfortable. But I do want to enlarge my comfort zone quicker because that sounds like a positive direction.
Yeah, well, if you think about
I love
like
that
if you were to create the comfort zone around yourself, really it's in our mind, right? The whole comfort zone is sitting in here in our mind. So if you were to envision an actual zone around yourself, like this is my comfort zone, and sometimes we actually have, it's called like our space, right? I like this is the amount of space that between me and the next person, that's where I'm comfortable. Maybe it's here, maybe it's further, you know. So that's like part of your comfort zone. And so if you think about the comfort zone, like what I like to explain it as is that we've got this bubble around us and it's our comfort zone. Every time I step outside of this comfort zone, like I'm going to break through it, I'm going to step outside of it, and maybe I just go a little bit outside of it. But now my comfort zone is enlarged to that new area because I stepped through the comfort zone. I broke it out and then I enlarged it. So imagine every time you break through a fear, whether you conquer the fear is not the key. The key is to break through it. And sometimes you might retract back. But usually when you retract back, it's not to the same place you were, right? You might break through it and then retract back, but you're further ahead than you were. So if you break through that fear again, and then you retract back further ahead than you were. So you're never going to go back to where you were. You're never going to go back to where you were because you have these opportunities to grow. And so we enlarge the size of our comfort zone. And so I started saying like, my comfort zone doesn't have there's no closure in my comfort zone. It's just completely open. I am 100% comfortable being uncomfortable because I know the vast majority of the time that I break through fears, or the vast majority of the time when I'm experiencing a fearful situation, that if I break through that fear, that the results I'm going to get are way better than I could ever imagine in my own little head. Way better, way better. And so like, look at some of the things you're doing today that a year ago, or maybe even 6 months ago, you, first of all, you never even considered them. They were never even part of your thoughts because you can only think as far as you can think. But the next day you met somebody because you broke through a comfort zone. You met somebody that because you broke through that comfort zone, that created a whole new trajectory of your life. It opened up new possibilities. It opened up new mindset. It created so much more within you, yet you didn't even know about the day before. I didn't know on Sunday, 2.5 weeks ago, that I even could be a writer for Entrepreneur. Not only that, I didn't even consider thinking about it. But it was because I stepped through and was like, oh, I wonder, shoot, I'll just apply. What's the worst thing that can happen? They don't accept me. Whatevs. I spent an hour applying. You know, that's a whole hour of my life is wasted, you know, but instead they accepted me. So this whole comfort zone thing, I breaking through a fear every day for a year, as I did in 2015, gave me a lot of insights about fear and then how we interpret it and how we allow it to control us. So that's what's happening is when we don't do something because we're scared, when we don't do something because we're scared, then we're allowing the fear to control us. But when we do something because we're scared, we're taking control over our fear. And the results we're going to get, I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, or 999 times out of 1,000, the results we get from breaking through a fear are way better than we ever imagined. And then we get to be proud of ourselves that, wow, look at what I did. Look at what I did. I mean, it's changed my whole entire life. I met you, Latara, after I did that year of fears. I think I met you in 2016, maybe 2017. And so it was after I broke through all those fears. Now, if I had met you the year before that, I would never have talked to you because I would have been too scared. That's who I used to be. So these fears, man, we can either let them control us or we can take control over them. It's up to us. That's my TED Talk for the day. Wait, Sally?
That's what I said for this TED Talk.
This TED Talk for the day.
TED Talk is the next level for you, Linda. I can see it now.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because my TED Talk's all ready to go. The worst part of the TED Talk is applying for it. So you got to find a location. You got to find one that's available, one that's accepting applications. And there's so many different elements, and I just don't want to do that work. So.
But you know a guy. You have the connections, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't. I still have to apply. That's the problem. Yeah. So yeah, a friend of mine he was the organizer of TED Talks in San Diego for 7 years. But my direct connection is, yeah, go click this link and apply, Linda. That's the direct connection. But it's all good. It's all good. So, oh gosh, this is way past my bedtime. Just kidding. It's only 6:40. I never know how to end these things because I could just talk to you ladies all day long. I love to share my stories.
I so appreciate your time, Linda. This was awesome. I'm so glad I was here tonight.
Me too. Me too.
Christine, thank you, Sally. Thank you so much.
I mean, thank you, Latara, for introducing me to the two of you with her event, because otherwise I don't believe I would have met you, or I don't know how long it would have taken me to meet you. What I'm impressed with, well, there's many things, but the extras that I'm receiving from the two of you, it's not just the book and the chapter, like the help with the chapter and all these other things that you're doing alongside and what you're going to do in the future by the sounds of it. Like, this is just amazing support and a great community of people that we get to connect with. And I didn't know that's what I was also signing up for. So I think that, that's just the extra icing on the cake or the cherry on the top, whatever. There's just so many more different things that I'm going to learn, and it's going to help me grow and evolve. And by doing so, I get to impact positively so many other lives. And you guys have been able to help me do that. So, and will continue. So I think it's really neat the way you are incorporating this whole community is what it's becoming. It's not just, hey, you were an author and we want you to be one again. It's, we're giving you support and encouragement and resources and everything that, of course, we're going to want to continue because we're growing and evolving. There's another story in us or another desire to reach out again. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you both for coming. And thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we appreciate it.
And now you've got 2 testimonials.
Yeah, Christine, can we use that as a testimonial? Is that a
Oh,
sure
you're
or a
muted.
no?
You're muted.
Did you say no way?
I forgot I was muted. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would have fine-tuned it in some way, but no, go ahead.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And that's one of the things, that's one of our uniquenesses,
Yes.
right? Is that
Yeah.
we keep providing value even after the book is published. It's not about just the book for us. It's beyond about way more than that, way more than that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and tonight proves that. Like, I mean, the value of what I thought I was coming to be able to actually work on the chapter and everything with other people at the same time. I didn't even realize what this was. So when I got the message reminder, because I thought it had been canceled, I'm so glad I jumped right in, even though I'm going, I can't find my papers. I'm not sure where I'm at. And I just let go of that when I realized you guys were actually training. It's like, oh well, let's be here and learn and expand. And yeah, it's beyond the book. As Latara had said, it's all this extra stuff that we're getting. So thank you.
awesome. Awesome. That's good. So Sally, something's wrong with our landing page. She thought she was going to write her chapter. You got to go look at that.
That might have just been where I think it's just something you had said, not like how I interpreted. That's all. So don't
Okay.
think there's something wrong. No. It's probably just what I in my brain thought. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I
We'll
was
still
here.
look
That
at it
was the key
anyway.
thing. I was supposed to be here and I
Yes.
was here. That's the key. And I can't be on Saturday because I'm out promoting my business. So I was so glad that it really was still happening tonight.
Right. Okay, so you guys thought this was valuable because one of our questions, and this is the first one we've done of this particular topic. And so one of our questions is, should we do this again, even after Saturday? So I think that it would be helpful for us to do something like this maybe on a quarterly basis. We do this particular, just do a live session on it to help everybody. So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you. My husband's wondering if I'm gonna, come out and we're gonna watch a movie together. He's wondering if I'm going to be there. So I should get going.
I stopped the one I was watching. I can just pick it back up.
There you go.
I miss going to the grocery store, but it's okay.
Yeah, it'll still be there.
Yeah. It's
I
just
wonder if
closed
you can-
now.
I wonder if you can watch a movie on 2x speed.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Kidding.
It'd be like they were
It's
speaking
what
a
I've
foreign
seen
language.
before. It's not even, I don't even have to go back to it if I don't want to.
I actually had something like that happen recently, Latara, where I was on TV and I went to exit and it wasn't like, it's not available on TV. And I just thought, how, man, like what, I have to watch the whole thing like at regular speed. They talk so slow, I got so used to, some people I've 4X'd their, like, cause on YouTube, you can 4X, you might even be able to do more than that. But I have 4X some people's voices to make it through something, and I can understand every word they're saying.
Wow.
It's so funny.
Neat.
Okay, with that, I have a story on that too, if you want to hear it. I'm going to share it anyway. Okay, Sally's probably heard every story I have. Okay, so I was attending this event and thank you, Eva, for being here. Waving to her. I was attending this event and the speaker came up and, they introduced him. His name is Jeff. And so Jeff got started. He went right into his talk immediately. And he was talking really fast out of the gate. Like you could, the words that were coming out of his mouth, they were just flowing out of his mouth so fast and furious that you were sitting there like, what the heck is this guy saying? I can't understand him. And so then what he said is, after about 2 minutes of him speaking, he said, I know. Some of you think that I talk too slow. And he said, actually, I speak about 350 words a minute, and I do this intentionally. People always tell me I need to slow down my speech, but the reality is that your brain will catch up. So eventually you're going to really get into the rhythm of what I'm saying. You're going to understand every single word I'm saying, and I'm going to be able to provide you a lot more value. And this is why I speak fast. So let's go. And I just thought it was cool because we're told so often to slow down our speech. You got to enunciate, which I understand the value of that. But if that's not my personality, if that's not who I am, then I'm trying to show up as somebody else so that I can please other people. But if I show up as myself and I speak too fast sometimes I slow down. And this is the way I speak. I know that there are times that I need to do pauses, like I'm practicing those pauses. I'm practicing slowing some words down, so I'm in the process of practicing some of these things. But I also know that if I speak fast, the people who speak fast will like what I do, and they'll hang with me. Those who think I speak too fast, they'll drift off, and that's okay. Because if I spoke too slow, those who speak fast would drift off, right? So if I just show up as me, and which is a lot of times speaking very fast, other times slowing down, then I'm going to attract the right person because I'm being me. So I don't know about you all, but I got tired of showing up as being a fake person because this is what I thought I needed to do. And this is what I thought I needed to be. So speak on.
Share your truth, truly be who you are. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Well, let me stop the recording.